Very exciting news for Varlamore the Final Dawn, new bosses to come, and much more. So, the Final Dawn quest. The final installment of our Varlamore area expansion brings with it the finale part of the accompanying quest series. The Master Tier finale is called The Final Dawn, and we'll see you explore the history of Varlamore and the fate of the mysterious Old Ones. We want you to discover the twists and turns of this thrilling story yourself, but we can share the rewards and quest requirements. Okay, so the quest requirements are 66 thieving, 52 rune crafting, 52 fletching, and you must have completed the Heart of Darkness and Perilous Moons. And it looks like they are suggesting level 80 combat. Okay, so the rewards. The mysterious new melee weapon has passed the reward poll, which means we'll be forging ahead with the following. So the new melee weapon is going to require 60 attack. It's going to be very similar to, say, the Dragon Scimitar, but it will have some special attacks that we will talk about. So this new weapon should sit roughly on par with the Dragon Scimitar, although the Scimitar will be favored in most situations thanks to its higher strength bonus. So where does this come in exactly? So the new melee weapon's real draw is its special attack, which costs 30% special energy. The special upgrades your next single attack with 50% increased accuracy. So it's going to be good for situations like that. In addition, a successful hit will apply the burn effect to the target, dealing 10 damage over 40 ticks. So it will do more passive damage. And it says that it can stack much like the Burning Claws, which means this weapon should tide you over until you've completed while Guthix sleeps. So it is going to be a guaranteed quest reward. This weapon really leans into the themes of the storyline. Our aim here isn't to shift metas or move needles. It's to celebrate your completion of our newest quest series. So it's not going to be new best in slot or anything like that. I do find it interesting that it is a guaranteed quest reward. So the new melee weapon will obviously be untradeable, with the ability to repurchase it for 75k GP if lost. So similar to the Helm of Nezinot, you can like rebuy that. So if lost, this item, if you like die in PvP, the PKer will receive 75k cash. So alongside the new melee weapon, you will also receive 55k thieving, 25k rune crafting is actually huge, 25k fletching, 55k in combat XP lamps, I guess you can kind of sort these how you like, 3 quest points, and access to the Doom of Mokhaiotl. So this is the Doom of Mokhaiotl, and it's going to be the first ever Delve boss. Okay, so Delve bosses are totally different, a totally different beast to what you fought before. After defeating the Doom of Mokhaiotl, the Doom for short, you'll choose between leaving with your loot or fighting an even tougher version of the monster in hopes of a bigger prize. Now, there are a lot of bosses in RuneScape 3 that kind of use this mechanic, so it's going to be the first for old school anyways, which is very interesting. So you can repeat this process as many times as you like, but the boss will become increasingly challenging and the rewards increasingly lucrative. If you die, any loot you've earned so far will be lost and you'll be left empty-handed. But hey, no pain, no gain, right? So wonder how far you can take this. You know what I mean? Like, is it unlimited waves and it just keeps getting harder and harder? So if it does that, it might be one of the toughest bosses in the game. So the mechanics, our Delve mechanics embrace the core concept of an enrage system. That's what it was actually called in RuneScape 3, the enrage system. So when the Doom is defeated, it will descend farther into its burrow, defeating it on the deeper levels increases the chance of receiving unique drops. And some unique drops will only appear at deeper. So I guess some will be locked behind, I don't know, like wave 2, wave 3. More dangerous levels, you must make all your Delve progress in a single run, as returning to the surface will reset you back to Delve level 1. Interesting. So it's kind of similar to, say, like the fight caves or something like that, where you can't just like leave, bank, come back. The primary benefit to increasing your delve level is increasing your chance to snag unique rewards. The quantities of basic loot remain relatively consistent, however, which means that no matter how long you survive, you won't be overloaded with general resources. Now, that was a huge problem in RuneScape 3. I think it was an ice boss or something. People could just farm it and farm it and farm it, and the general resources would just stock up like crazy and just crash the economy. Okay, so it looks like there will be 8 delve levels, so that's the highest cap. Each increasing in difficulty. You can keep repeating the hardest difficulty for as long as you can survive, but remember that if you do succumb to the doom, you'll lose everything. So it looks like once you do make it to wave 8, you can keep killing it, I guess, as long as you have resources or whatever. So the Doom of Mokhaiotl is an endgame boss that will be particularly fun for players at or above level 120 combat, who either have or are close to getting their Infernal Cape. So that said, this isn't the Inferno, and the rewards are designed to reflect that. Okay, so let's see what some of the rewards will be. So deeper levels increase the difficulty of the fight in several ways, so increasing the boss attack rate, smaller reaction times for special attacks, so it looks like it's just going to be buffed, like the whole fight overall will sort of just be getting buffed, making it harder and harder. So interesting. So up next is the fletching activity. If you're skilling inclined, you might want to swing by the Auburnvale. This town on the north coast of Varlamore has had some tough times, but their beautiful forests are second to none. They're also inhabited by magical Ents who are keen to help you recycle all those bows cluttering up your bank. Ents roam the forest, leaving offerings as they praise the land. Join them and connect to nature while leveling your fletching skills. Whittling tomes in the likeness of the local wildlife. Decorate them with leftover bows, crossbow stocks, and shields. If they impress the local Ents, you'll receive XP and other rewards. This activity will be accessible from level 15 fletching and beyond, so very early you can actually access this. Although you'll get most out of it around level 50, which is still fairly low of a level. So here is the gameplay loop. So choose a scenic location to start making totems, scout the area, keeping an eye out for which critters are most common nearby. For a top tier rewarding totem, you should look to represent the 3 most common animals. They'll move around from time to time, so you can't always rely on the same combination. Gather logs. The higher tier the wood, the longer your totems will stand, allowing you to keep the site active for more Ent visitors without maintenance. So I guess that's going to keep the price of like maybe magics, redwoods sort of up. This in turn allows you to maintain more sites simultaneously, leading to greater XP per hour. So whittling your log into a blank pole, choose which animal to represent and carve them on the totem. So either fletch strung or unstrung bows, crossbow stocks, and shields, or use some you've made earlier. So that's good because a lot of like Ironman especially have tons of these in the bank. The more decorations you have, the more XP you'll gain. Don't worry about lugging it all around with you. There are some convenient banks along the route to pick up pre-made items. Over time, Ents will pass by to pay their respects and leave offerings. There's no need for you to wait around for them. They are famously not too hasty. So you might as well go make some other totems elsewhere. Be sure to check back in as your totems don't stay standing forever. Offerings, however, will last until you pick them up. Collect your offerings to receive XP and maybe some unique items, all based on your totem score. There'll also be a little downtime while running between your totem sites. It's the perfect time to do some fletching on the go. or partake in other activities like elking, glassblowing, or herblore. Win, win, win. Especially if there is going to be a bunch of banks nearby, it might be really cool. It's one of those things where it sounds interesting, but until you actually see it in person, I don't know exactly what to think about it. And of course, the Slayer Dungeon. So the Custodia Pass is a hostile stretch of rocky ground that marks the border between Varlamore and Karend, and it's the perfect hunting ground for Slayer enthusiasts. After completing the quest, you'll gain access to the new Slayer Dungeon, with these brand new creatures to slay. So you'll also come into contact with an enemy yet to be seen on mainland Gielinor, the Custodian Stalker. So these guys we've seen in the past, and they're going to be a new Slayer creature to fight. And looks like there's different levels of them, so you can actually start killing these guys at level 54 Slayer, and all the way up to the Elder version at 76. So that's very nice. So the rewards from these guys are the Antler Guard has officially passed the poll, although its name may be changed between now and launch. Let's remind ourselves what this item has to offer. So if you guys remember the Antler Guard right here, we intend the Antler Guard to keep you going until you get the Dragon Defender, and it's particularly useful for players who enjoy the RCB or the Hunter Crossbow. Those of you bringing Proselyte along to Slayer task will also enjoy the +5 prayer bonus. It's like having a Proselyte Kusin in your offhand. So it's going to be one of those offhand items, which is going to be nice, like it said, until you get the Dragon Defender. So it's very nice for the early game. However, it does require 50 prayer. And of course, we have this nice Gemstone crab boss, which is going to be pretty big. As you can see right here in this picture, it's a 5x5, and this would be like a character standing beside it, so you'd be on one tile right here. So it is a gigantic crab boss. Very cool. And it looks like this crab is capable of spawning in multiple locations throughout the rainforest, so prepare for travel if you plan to track it down. We also should suggest you bring a crack team of fellow fighters, as Gemstone Crab is designed to train your combat stats collaboratively. The MVPs will receive some gems by way of reward, but beware, it'll take some effort to crack that shiny shell. So a new Nagua. So you'll also encounter a new type of Nagua in the rainforest, rounding out the spiritual trio. You'll be able to fight them in a lesser Nagua Slayer task once you've completed the final Dawn. We recently polled their unique reward, and it passed. So here's what you need to know about this new weapon. So it looks like it's a 55 attack weapon. And it has a special effect, so hits twice, splitting the damage across 2 hit splats. We're seeing a lot of weapons like this in the recent times. This unique twin weapon will act as a stab equivalent of the sulfur blades and the ice hammers that you get from that ice boss in Varlamore, completing the set. Like their equivalents, they will hit twice per attack, rolling damage normally and splitting it across 2 hit splats. So that's all we have to update you on when it comes to Varlamore, but do have a read through the rest of the RuneFest reveals. Yes, of course. So yeah, there is a lot to actually come with the Final Dawn quest. We've got the new crab boss, of course, you know what I mean. We've got the new Slayer dungeons and the Custodian Stalkers. Very, very nice. New Slayer tasks are always good, especially with some new rewards. I think the fletching activity is going to be massive, especially for the lower levels, and it's going to be a new way to actually kind of say train fletching. Use some of the ingredients from fletching that you kind of just had sitting in your bank or you didn't really know what to do with, kind of finally giving them a bit of a use. And of course, we've got the Doom of mokhaiotl, which will be a very fun encounter. And the first, obviously, Delve boss in RuneScape. So I'm kind of curious to see what that's like. I'll probably make it to wave 2 and then die. But of course, I'm really excited for the quest as well and to try out the new weapon. And yeah, it looks like it is going to be a lot of fun. And I cannot wait for Varlamore, the final Dawn. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. Let me know down in the comments which of these updates you are most excited for. And yeah, I think for me, it's definitely going to be the fletching activity or the delve boss. I really can't decide. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya later.